Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to be with you. We're continuing into May on weekdays, every day at noon Pacific, to remind ourselves and the planet what a high consciousness can do for healing. We have a good viral act of kindness today coming in from Mandy from Britain, and she was saying that there's a fellow named Tom Moore, who's a 99-year-old war hero, and he's raising money to fight COVID, care for COVID patients. He raised 28 million British pounds by completing 100 laps around his garden with his walker. And he's also singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," and his recording of it is contending with the top superstar, The Weeknd. In Britain, it's contending for #1 spot with all the money from "You'll Never Walk Alone" going to charity. Well, way to go, Captain Tom. Yeah. So each of us in our own ways making some kind of contribution, huh? That's what I want to talk to you about today. There's a tribe in Africa called the Himba tribe, H-I-M-B-A, and they have a pretty amazing custom. When a Himba woman is pregnant, she goes out into the jungle or the wilderness with a couple of friends, and they pray and they meditate until they hear the song of the child. And the idea is that every soul has a unique signature, a unique vibration. And they attune to it and they make a chant out of it, representing this unique child coming to the world. And then when this baby is born, the village gathers around the child and they sing the child's song to it as it's being born. Now, how many of you had your village surrounding you at the time of your birth singing your song to you? Well, I don't think any of us really did that. And then at significant turning points in the child's life, such as when they start education, if you were the child, they would gather around you and sing your song. And when you're getting married, they would sing your song. When you have your adult initiation to adulthood, they would sing your song. And when you're finally passing away many years later, your village sings your song. And there's one other time in the child's life when the village would sing their song to him, and that's if the child commits some crime or socially aberrant act. In that case, the child is not punished, or the adult is not punished, but instead, the village gathers around this person and they sing the person's song. And they realize quite accurately that correction and healing do not occur by punishment, but by restoring the memory of who we truly are. And when you remember who you truly are, you would never want to do anything that hurts anybody else, because true love is kind. And so when you take care of yourself and remember your song, then you're a blessing to the world. Wayne Dyer used to say, "Don't die with your music still inside you." In other words, we all have something we came to express. It could be a book or an invention or a class or a marriage or a parenting. And when you live your purpose, you find deep fulfillment. When you're distracted or overriding your purpose with something else, you start to feel empty. And this is why people feel depressed and empty, because they're not doing what they came to do. I think Benjamin Franklin said, most people die at 25, but they're not buried until 75. There was a young tennis star, Jennifer Capriati, a number of years ago, and she was a tennis star at 12, and she was causing a big sensation in the tennis world. And a reporter asked her, "Do you want to be the next Chris Everett?" And she said, "No, I want to be the first Jennifer Capriati." And so we have this weird obsession with comparing ourselves to others and trying to walk in other people's shoes, but we've all tried that and it hasn't worked. You will never succeed at being somebody else. I did a workshop based on one of my books called Dare to Be Yourself. And a fellow stood up and he said, yeah, he said, I tried being myself once. He said, it didn't work. He said, I didn't have enough experience. And he's making a joke, but it's kind of true. Unless you exercise the muscle of being who you are, you cannot get positive feedback and results from the world that reward you for being who you are. When I turned 40, I had an interesting insight. I realized that if I hadn't found happiness by pleasing other people during my first 40 years, I wasn't going to find happiness by pleasing people in my next 40 years. So I gave up the idea of people pleasing. I decided my next 40 years I would live for myself. Doing pretty good. I have ups and downs. But there comes a time in everybody's life when you say, it hasn't really worked for me to live up to everyone else's expectations. Maybe I will tune into my own vision, my own expectations. Maybe I will co-create my life with God's vision for me, not fear's vision. There was a British critic, Cyril Connolly. He said, it's better to write for yourself and have no public than to write for the public and have no self. Now, of course, this doesn't apply just to writing. It applies to everything. Everything you do, your life is the book you write. People tell me I want to write a book. Well, cool, please do. But at every moment you live, you are writing the book of your life with the choices you make. And at the end of your life, what if you review that book, and will you find that it's your life or is it someone else's? So we have two voices in our head, as we said many times. We have the voice of fear and the voice of love. And another way those voices express is through adaptation or expression. And a lot of us have been like chameleons. We adapt, adjust, accommodate to everybody else's attentions. How many women have I coached who got divorced and said, I lived my whole life with my husband and my kids, and now I don't know who I am. I said, well, here's a great chance to find out. On the other hand, when you live from a sense of expression, you can sleep at night. You look back on your day and say, I lived the day that I would choose today. I didn't live the day my parents wanted from your husband, my wife, and my boss. I lived the day that I chose. Oh, boy, what a reward that is. I remember nights when I would just lay in bed thinking, what did I do today? I was at the office and I was typing, doing emails and answering calls, and I just felt like so empty. And I thought, I don't want to live another day like this, God. I just can't stand being a hollow shell. We don't want to walk around like a ghost. One of my coaching clients said he was in a marriage for a long time that wasn't working. He had a job that wasn't working. And one day he said, my 11-year-old daughter came to me and she said, Dad, you're a ghost. He said, that got my attention. I realized I wasn't fooling anybody, that I had become a hollow shell. He said, so I got divorced and I quit my job and I'm a new person. Now, I'm not suggesting you all get divorced and quit your jobs unless that's your own destiny. But I am suggesting that you have to do a fearless and searching moral self-inventory on a daily basis and ask yourself, is the life I am living the one I came to live? And if the answer is no, you have to make some changes. You just have to. Otherwise, you just become more and more hollow. Now, my friend Karen Drecker, who listens to many of these broadcasts, if you're on today, Karen, hi, I love you. So Karen is a wonderful, talented musician, and she said for many, many years she was doing the wedding and bar mitzvah and corporate circuit. And after a while, it got really, really boring. She was making money, but she was aching inside. And people were bugging her to play polkas, and kids wanted her to play songs she didn't want to play. And she said, I can't do this anymore. So she made a decision that she would follow her spirit. She wanted to write inspirational songs and speak and teach and play at New Thought and inspirational churches. And she did that. She cut the cord. She had the guts to cut the cord. Karen, if you're watching, God bless you. And she launched out on a career to produce inspirational New Thought music. And she has like 20 albums out. She's very prolific. And now she's one of the most popular talents on the New Thought circuit. She's booked every weekend long in advance. And she's won many awards. And she said, my turning point was when I looked in the mirror and I said, I can't do this anymore. So it takes guts, doesn't it? And it's not just once. It's not just, one day when you're 27, you say, I can't do this anymore. Then you make your changes. And then, you have to check in every year and every couple of years. And you have to check in with your marriage. Does my marriage have life in it? And what would it take to restore life? Norman Vincent Peale said, be an all-out, not a holdout. Be an all-out, not a holdout. And one of my coaching clients says, well, how do I know when I'm in my higher self? How do I know when I'm attuned to my true self? And I said, it's pretty simple. I said, you feel fulfilled and you feel passionate and you want to get up in the morning and do what you have to do. I think Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, said, there's this famous phrase he wrote out when he was 92. He says, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm, and I go about the business of doing what I have to do, age 92. So when you are aligned with your passion and purpose, you have infinite energy. If you have no energy, it's because you're not living from passion. And the question is, what would it take to return to passion? That's a big question. Only you can answer that for you. It's different for you than anyone else. And so as we deal with this COVID crisis and the economy issue, we each have to look into our heart and ask ourselves, what was my authentic way of relating to this? And a lot of people are happy to stay home. People write to me, hey, this is pretty cool. I've been having home for a while, and I like working from home. I might continue to do this. And other people are kind of climbing the walls, and they're looking for ways to get out, and they're finding ways to express through email or phone calls or phone chats or Zooms, or they're walking out. Now a lot of people can walk out in the park. A lot of people are doing creative things. As I mentioned to you, I'm starting a new program called The Leading Edge of Accelerating Prosperity, starting in a couple of weeks, where I'm going to train people to become prosperous. I've used this time for developing my new program. So what would be your authentic response to how to deal with coronavirus in the world? It's really a spiritual seminar, isn't it? It's another invitation for you to be honest about who you are and how you want to relate to this. Some people are scared and depressed, and other people are saying, hey, I'm meditating, I'm praying, I'm just using my time wisely. We had a whole daily dose on don't apologize for being happy. And so what would it take for you to live unapologetically? What would it take for you to quit adapting and start expressing? What would it take for you to come back into alignment with your true self instead of putting on various masks? The word personality, persona, means mask. We put on various masks to please the world. But then what's the use of pleasing the world if you don't please yourself? And the wonderful caveat, the wonderful miracle, I should say, is that when you are in alignment with your passion and your uniqueness and you're singing your own song and expressing your own unique gifts, you become a blessing to the world. You light the world. All those people are buying Captain Tom Moore's recording in Britain now because they are happy to see this 99-year-old man living his passion, and he's inspiring them to live their passion. So You were born with a song. That song lives inside of you. It has not died. It is very much alive, and it's just waiting for you to sing it. So shall we all sing our song today? Shall we all sing our song for the rest of our lives? Can we uplift the world and have a #1 hit record? Even if nobody else buys it, you'll be your own superstar from inside out. That's our message for today. We'll be taking the weekend off, and we'll see you again on Monday. I love you. Have a fabulous weekend. Enjoy singing your own song, and we'll connect again real soon. Take care.